in a world where we discuss what would happen in a world if we changed one thing.
That's such a long tagline.
It is.
We need a billboard for that tagline if it was a movie poster, wouldn't you?
And you're going to put effort into saying it, so I don't think it's going to stick.
No, I don't think it's as catchy as it possibly could be.
Dystopia.
Okay, so we probably need to apologise for last time.
I don't know why you think that. Why? What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Well, today I have just finished editing last podcast. So
Right,
the
yeah.
one that everyone's already listened to, Ep 3.
Yeah.
So it's probably good for you guys to know we're kind of 2 episodes ahead, so we're not being really rude. People keep leaving lovely comments, and then it looks like we just ignore them.
Yeah.
We've got to. I'm sure we'll be lazy one week and we'll miss it and get back on track.
Yeah. I mean, the last one we did must have been the easiest editing job ever because we were on fire. It was
We need this whole podcast needs to be a backtrack corner from last week.
okay.
All we did was at one point I was just shouting Muppet names, just listing Muppets and why they'd be good.
So that's pretty much what happens every day, really, isn't
That is
it?
a standard.
That's just
day
a
for me.
normal Tanya conversation.
Lee was very drunk.
Oh, I was hammered.
The
I was
stories-
absolutely hammered.
The stories of you that night will go down in legend in that party.
Yeah. I think
Did you enjoy being a lady for a night?
I did actually. It was very liberating experience. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, you got disgustingly drunk
Yep.
and hid in the bathroom for most of the night, so I feel like that was a proper
That's a
lady.
very I was very that was a very legit experience, wasn't it? That's most 16-year-old girls who've drunk for the very first time. Yeah, it was nice.
And how could it possibly have gone wrong when we recorded a podcast while we were both intoxicated like that?
Exactly.
Well, it is the Drinks in Dystopia podcast, so
Right, so it was perfect.
what are we drinking tonight?
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking?
Yeah.
You might want to go first, because I am classing this joint up.
Oh right, okay. Well, I'm. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, I didn't really mean
You said you want you should go first. I went okay, and then you instantly started saying what you were drinking. So, go on then.
I am drinking gin and tonic. But not just any gin and tonic.
All right, okay.
Hendrick's gin and tonic.
Wow.
The greatest, most hipster gin in all the world.
I know you sound like a proper dickhead.
Well, let me tell you, there's cucumber in it.
Oh my god.
And a bowl of ice instead of ice cubes.
Oh,
It's
you're the worst. You are the worst.
It's so
Wow.
good. It tastes of the tears of a generation.
Yeah, does it
Yeah.
really?
Millennial tears. That's what this cocktail would be called if you could drink it. You can't drink it, it's mine. You
No.
can't have any.
It's all yours. Wow, that is pretentious, isn't it?
No, it's delicious
Yeah.
and healthy. It's one of my 5 a day.
Okay.
If I have 5 of them, I'm in.
Yeah.
Done.
That's how it works.
What are you drinking?
Oh
wait, I'm sorry. You just called me pretentious. What are you drinking?
Well, to be fair, in stark contrast to your high class spirits, whatever cocktaily thing you're drinking, I'm drinking beer that I made in a bucket in the garage. So
See, you say that. I say handmade craft brew that you have made lovingly
yeah,
over a month period and left to simmer?
to simmer, to age.
To age beautifully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like that idea. It's not true. It was.
It was a bucket.
Yeah, it was a bucket of just the cheapest possible ingredients I could find, chucked into a bucket, left for a couple of weeks, put in bottles, and then I put them in a box in the cupboard, and I forgot about them for months, and now I just rediscovered them.
Which one is it though?
I think it was an experimental one where I literally just chucked all the ingredients I had hanging around in a bucket. I was like, I wonder what this will taste like, and it's about 7.6% though. So.
It smells like iron brew.
Oh, that's what I was going for. Yeah. Iron brew. Oh,
You have to
Jesus.
raise your eyebrows as you say
Jesus.
it.
But it doesn't actually taste like iron brew. It literally tastes like something that's been brewed in iron. It's got a very metallic flavour to it rather than a delicious Scottish sort of pop beverage.
Oh yeah, well, my brother and sister and mum are all They may be the only people listening, to be honest. But
yeah.
my brother has suggested that we make more jingles.
Really? So you
Yeah.
enjoyed the first one so much that he
Yeah.
wants more.
And they were all pun based, so like, don't look backtrack in anger.
Good. Good.
What were the other ones? I'm letting him down here because they were very good.
Yeah,
and now
some
I'm just
good
gonna come up
puns.
with But luckily for you guys listening, on the first time I purposely made you record a lot of jingles because you didn't think I was actually going to put it online.
I did, yeah.
So now, ready
Oh,
for Backtrack Corner.
Okay. Is that one of them? Is that a new jingle?
No, that was the
No?
build up to the jingle.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it's just jingle now. There you go. They listen to the beautiful jingle.
Brilliant.
Yep.
That was perfect, that jingle. It
I
was
already
great. I liked
know.
everything about it.
When I edit this, I'm going to hate past me
Yeah.
because I'll be like, why? Why did you make me make these jingles?
Yeah.
But really, we can blame Craig, my brother.
It's clearly his fault.
Okay, so this week's New World Rule. You ready for this?
Yeah, we're not backtracking anything else?
Nah.
No?
Everything else.
Everything else we said in every other episode, including necropants, is all cool. Did
I'm
we
sorry.
backtrack that before?
No, you did a shot for it because it was 100% true. Are you kidding? Do you not remember doing the shot last
No,
episode?
I have no recollection.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I'm very serious. I didn't really.
No, I'm serious. Like, not just for these people listening. I'm really asking you, not for comedy.
I am being as genuine as like. I have no recollection of doing a shot for necropants.
Oh, maybe.
Did we discuss necropants? I don't think we did.
Maybe we didn't. But you know what that means?
What?
You have to do a shot.
I have to do a shot now. Well, I'll do a swig of my beer. How's that?
It's fine. You did do another shot.
Yeah.
You did last week.
Oh, okay.
Just messing with you.
Do you just want to make me drink more beer? Oh no,
I was
poor
going to
me.
make you do the soju in the fridge.
No, let's not crack that open yet.
I forgot as well. I was meant to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you a question in between backtrack and questions.
Go on. What was the question?
Okay, you
Yeah.
ready?
Go on.
It's a classic
Yeah.
that I'm going to ask you this week.
Okay. It's what time is love?
If you could choose a superpower, what superpower are you going to have? This is the classic. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to go with?
Okay. So I know Alex, if he's listening, he always says the power of perfect persuasion is the best power to have.
Your brother is a genius because that's so good.
It's up there. It's up there as one of the best. If you could convince people to do anything you wanted, there's very little things on earth you couldn't do because you could get any job you wanted, you get as much money as you wanted, you could do anything you wanted because you could just convince people around you to let you do it.
You are 100% right as well, because I remember hearing Alex say that once and being like, yeah, it's alright. And then I watched January Jones, the TV show, and...
Yeah, you didn't watch January Jones, the TV show.
No, I didn't. I didn't at all.
No.
What's her name? Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
January Jones, the TV show, would be great.
I would definitely watch that.
Jessica Jones, the Marvel TV show on Netflix, and the bad guy in that's his power, and it's amazing.
It's an
what you can
amazing
do with
power.
that.
Yeah, it's a really, really good one.
In fact, I might make that an episode far in the future.
Yeah.
Just talk about that. But
So that's a good power that Alex said there. Other than that, I'd probably be Superman's powers, which are all of them.
you can't pick all of them. You have to pick one.
Superman's power?
No.
No?
Superman's power is absorbing the sun, if you want to say that.
Kind of, yeah.
So you just die. Absorb it all.
He doesn't, though.
Yeah,
does
but
he?
you're not Superman.
Okay, alright, don't rub it in. Yeah, so I mean, the persuasion one's pretty good, I suppose.
But it is a bit terrifying, because like in the Jessica Jones TV show, he's like, oh, eat your heart out, and then someone does.
Yeah. But then, that's it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be like they literally have to follow your commands. It could just be they understand what you want, what your will is, and what your will becomes their will. That's all it is.
You're being very specific. I feel like if...
Why is that specific? You're the one being specific. You're like, oh, if you say eat their heart out, they've got to literally eat their heart out.
But
It's
how
like,
would your power distinguish between making someone really do what you want, even if you're speaking in metaphors?
because they would understand your will. They would know, they think, I want this chair moved from here. I want it there. They would know, oh, Lee wants the chair over there. So they would go and do that.
ironically, you'd have willpower.
Yes, you would have willpower. Yeah.
That's a good one. So is that where you're going? Not flying, invisible.
This is the only problem. Is like the other one I always like the idea of is shape shifting. I think that'd be really cool because if you could shape shift, you could do anything you wanted then because you could fly, you could grow wings and just fly. You could look like anyone else, so you could just, that would be fun. You could live someone else's life for the day. You could become like the greatest boxer or rugby player or footballer or sportsman in the world because you just alter your body so that you have perfect.
And surely you never die.
Yeah, you can never die because
your cells
aren't deteriorating, and you could just whatever make them new. So shape-shifting is a very good one as well, I think.
We'll see. Yeah, Mystique is always the coolest.
Yeah.
See, what I was going to go with was talking to animals. But now you've said shape-shifting, I feel like that's not as great.
Yeah, yours, you can just go up to slugs and go, hello. That's your power. Whereas I could turn into a slug.
What if they didn't want to talk to you?
What if they didn't want to talk back?
That's you've said that before.
Well, that was my idea for a character. It's called the Defects Men, wasn't it? And his one is he could talk to snails and slugs, but they just refuse to talk back.
And one of them
and they don't listen to his commands. So he can talk to them. They understand him. They just don't listen to him.
And one of them was just a man with a pinky finger that comes out of his forehead that can hold a pencil.
Could just about grip a pencil, but didn't have that much strength. So that was his power. He just has a finger on his forehead.
I love defect men. We spend so much time of our lives talking about defect men.
Yeah, the man who can make his hair fall out.
That's a good one.
But it can't grow back. All his hair just falls out. The man who can make grass grow, but only very, very slowly, like a millimetre an hour.
The guy who can always tell the time.
Yes.
It's just a human clock.
Yeah, he always knows what time it is, wherever he is. That's it. That's
but only in one time zone.
Yeah.
A specific time zone.
Yeah.
So as soon as he leaves it,
he knows exactly what the time is in Nigeria, at anywhere in the world, at any time. But that's all he knows. Yeah.
Oh God, there was loads of them. We used to come up with them all the time.
The Defects Men.
And there was Erosion Man, the power to erode things very slowly.
Yeah.
So he could just...
Oh, and there's the man who could age himself, but he couldn't age back. He couldn't go younger. He could just make himself get older. That's all he could do. He could only age one way. Yeah. Because these guys must exist, because the X-Men, they're all mutants. They're always amazing powers, though. There must be some who've just got terrible powers, which are like, their mutant abilities are just not that good.
Well, yeah, because Darwinism would test a few things out.
Yeah, like, they'd be bad mutations. Like, 99.9% of mutations are bad. So 99.9% of X-Men would be terrible. They would be defects men. We've gone off topic a little bit, I think.
Well, mine would either be talk to animals or the power to learn things extremely quickly. Like Johnny Five in Short
like
Circuit.
Johnny Five. I thought you were going to say like Johnny Mnemonic or something. Or like, it plugs something into your brain and know instantly, Johnny number 5.
Yeah, when he gets the books and he just goes,
yeah.
And he like scales through the book and then he knows it all. That's what I want.
Okay. Great.
It'd be amazing.
It would be amazing. I'm not saying it's not amazing, but I just didn't expect you to be like, I want to be like Johnny 5.
So New World Rule.
Go for it. What have we got? What do I need to dissect and reconstruct perfectly this week?
You did tell me many times in the last podcast that this week had to be more scientific and, in your words, good.
Right, okay. Yeah. I am a fierce critic, aren't I?
So, I've actually done at least 3 minutes research.
That's pretty good.
Oh, wait. New World Rule jingle. Go!
No. World Rule.
There you go.
Another jingle, great.
Within 3 seconds of each other, there's a jingle.
Superb.
Okay, are you ready for this? I'm gonna paint you a picture.
Go for it. Paint me a picture.
Okay, so this week we're kind of being taken into Arthur C Clarke's world.
Right.
Okay.
Sri Lanka. Okay.
Is that true?
yeah, it is.
So he wrote a story called Childhood's End. Have you ever read that book?
No.
Okay, so in Childhood's End, aliens come to the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And they don't show themselves. They just beam out a message to everybody. And they say, in 50 years, we're going to reveal ourselves.
Right.
Right. So that's where this idea came from. That in itself is probably quite a good New World Rule, but I don't like to do anything normally, so...
No.
This is a... So imagine...
And the temperature's 9 degrees. Yeah? No?
Right. So, in this world,
yeah,
aliens have come to the planet Earth, and they've looked at us all, and they've decided we are not emotionally equipped to handle them arriving.
Right.
So what they do is bestow on every single human the power to completely and really empathize with someone else. So if you cause someone else an emotion, you feel it.
Right. Okay. So this is like the justice field in Red Dwarf.
Oh, I didn't. I was trying to think of things where they've done this. Is that a Red Dwarf episode?
Yeah, in Red Dwarf they create the perfect prison where when you're within, I think it's called the justice field, whenever you're within the justice field, anything you do to somebody else, the consequences happen to you. So if you try to set someone on fire, you'll set on fire. If you try to punch someone, you'll get punched.
Okay, well, it's not quite that because you'll just feel the fire and you'd feel the punch.
So this is just an emotional sort of thing.
It's a complete and emotional response. I'll let you decide whether you know aliens have done this to us, because that does change things, I suppose. But maybe if we just went with the fact that we wake up tomorrow and everyone can now feel what the other people feel.
Right, okay. And you can't turn it on and off, you can't choose when to feel.
Nope.
All emotions?
So it's a little bit like Deanna Troi in, like how she feels what other people are feeling in Star Trek.
So do you need to be like within proximity of someone or touching them? Because otherwise you just feel, 6 billion
Well, no,
emotions.
you've got to have caused it.
Right, okay. So if you... Okay, but then let's say you did that. Let's say you dropped a bomb on something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I suppose
why
this is the podcast, I suppose, isn't it? It's discussing this.
But this is why aliens have done it.
Ah, okay.
Because they're like, you are not emotionally equipped because you still hate each other and you're fighting.
Yeah.
So their reasoning, because me and them, we're friends.
Yeah.
That's why they
Of
told
course,
me.
you get
But their reasoning is, if we can all feel each other's emotions for a while, maybe that will allow us to be emotionally equipped and ready.
It would change our perspectives. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to run through the questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So, how would science have to change? I suppose with aliens.
Yeah. Well, but my first question is.
Okay.
So can you only ever feel? So let's say, for example, you drop a bomb on a city and it it kills like 20,000 people. Do you feel the suffering of 20,000 people? So it's like the normal suffering of one person, but times 20,000. So it's more intense, more powerful. You just kill yourself, I suppose. You wouldn't be able to function. Or do you only feel the emotions, of one person? It would be grief, but it would only be the one human's grief, or how does it work?
Yeah, because you're right. Because I think you'd die, wouldn't you? If you felt the pain of 20,000 people, you would just explode. So, I suppose. Well, in Childhood's End, the Arthur C Clarke book, one of the things they do is they tell them they can't hurt animals anymore, but they're still having bullfighting in Spain.
Yeah.
So the aliens cause everyone in the stadium watching the bullfighting to have a searing pain in their head. I might be getting this wrong, I read this a long time ago. But they're not actually, there's nothing hurting them. They're not damaged in any way.
Yeah.
It's more an illusion that they're feeling that pain.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the same. Like, you feel it, but in no way is it's only emotionally damaging. It's not actually going to kill you.
Right.
Which is almost worse.
Yeah. So there's no physical consequences. Okay. Well, what about?
Apart from you physically, you cry and you react.
Yes.
But no pain or suffering or no, you know what I mean. No death.
Well, how direct does the consequence have to be? So, for example, that person who drops the bomb, could they logically say, well, I didn't make the decision to drop the bomb. The Prime Minister made the decision to drop the bomb. I'm just the guy who presses the button. So, what...
Oh, can you do mental gymnastics? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying, how do you logically determine who is responsible for which act?
Everyone involved in the decision.
In the chain.
Yeah. If you didn't try to stop it and you were in that chain, part of that conversation.
Yeah.
And you could have been...
So what about, we're getting into deep philosophical waters here. Okay. So what about the man who presses the button is responsible, the Prime Minister is responsible, are all the people who elected the Prime Minister responsible? So if you voted for that guy and then that guy did that...
You've got to actually directly be involved in the conversation.
Right, okay. So it's
everyone in the war room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But the first question we always go to is science. Yeah, so how would science change in this world? I suppose it's alien, so it's...
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to do any... I mean, you could, I suppose, but medical testing and all that would be a lot more complicated, wouldn't it?
Everything would be more complicated.
Yeah, because anything you did to anyone else, you would feel... Does this extend to animals then, like the book? So if you did animal testing, do you feel all the consequences of that?
Ideally, I would like to, because I love animals. But I think for simplicity's sake, for this podcast, let's just say it's only humans.
only extends to humans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because hopefully, if we didn't want to hurt each other, eventually we wouldn't want to hurt other things, I suppose. Or maybe if they didn't feel theirs, then we take it out on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're right. No, I'm going to backtrack that already.
Okay.
We do feel things because we're the biggest advocates for the fact that dogs feel happiness and dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you make your dog happy, you feel happy.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you also get the positive benefits as well. It's not just negative.
No, it's positive too. So like,
Ah.
so like prostitutes are the happiest people in the world.
Okay.
But the clients aren't. So it's a. But then, is she happy? Is he happy? I don't know. It's a domino effect of craziness. It's a cycle, a crazy cycle.
Yeah, that's very interesting, isn't it?
Can't believe we got to prostitutes so quickly.
I know, yeah. Straight away, prostitution.
It's really actually, with this one, the normal subjects that we talk about, science, population, law and order, they don't really apply too much because...
Yeah, we might have to break the mould a little bit for this one.
A greater power has put it on us. So, okay, so well, I suppose for you, personally, let's take it to a personal level.
Okay.
So tomorrow you wake up, like, how would it change a normal person's day-to-day? Someone that isn't involved in the big decisions. Like, how would it affect you, do you think?
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Because, well...
The world wouldn't stop. We'd all carry on as
all
normal
have to
for a while.
Yeah, you don't have to keep doing what you're doing. But I suppose it's essentially, everyone in the world would have to live by the golden rule, wouldn't they? Which is, do unto others how you'd like to be done to yourself, whatever it is.
Something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines, isn't it? Yeah. So, like, everyone would have to live by that standard.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there wouldn't be no advantage, but there'd be little advantage to treating other people poorly, of lying, of being deceitful, of manipulating, of thieving. Like, any of that sort of stuff would then become...
That's why the aliens would do it.
Yeah, it's a great idea that the aliens have done. Yeah.
I mean, they think.
No, yeah, not your idea. 'Cause it's not your idea. It's Arthur C Clarke's idea.
No, it isn't.
And it's his aliens. You've contributed nothing to this.
No. Well, this is the thing. I should clarify. The book. This isn't what happens in the book. They just turn up and everyone knowing they're there. It's like
is enough.
Yeah, and because it's 50 years, each generation knows they're going to see them. So they get ready. So by the time they are shown, they've gone through all the crazy drama and everything, and they're just ready to experience what they look like.
Yeah.
But there's that one moment where they make everyone feel pain.
And they realise how powerful the aliens are. Like, if we piss them off, they'll make our brains melt, or whatever they did.
Well, because I wanted to do this idea, but I was trying to think of, like, well, if we've always had it, if it's just a part of this world that's always been there, then you're not going to have any of these problems, because you'll always have grown up with it.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be a world where it suddenly happened, and I was thinking the aliens are the only thing that could trigger this.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's fine. Don't beat yourself up over the premise. That's fine. It's a good premise.
You can feel, if you could feel, you'd feel that I don't feel bad.
Yeah, good. You shouldn't. No one's questioning the alien part of this premise. I don't know why you suddenly got very defensive about why you picked it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. The only people who would be problematic would be sadomasochists.
Yeah, I was thinking, do you think that, like, you'd just be talking to someone and you'd be feeling nothing? Like, nothing would be coming off them, and you'd be like, oh, you're a serial killer.
Oh, that's interesting.
That has no empathy. Like, you have nothing there, and I know that.
Because I'm not feeling anything.
But then would they... I suppose this is my question to you as well, is, like, how many levels can it keep going? Because if you say you make a joke in work, and someone takes offence to it, you'd feel offended, then you'd feel bad, and then would that person feel bad that you felt bad, and how many times would it go back and forward?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, exactly, because
would it ricochet?
If I did, that's a very interesting point, because, other people being offended by what I say, they're kind of being jerks, aren't they? Because if I say a joke, and their feelings are hurt, and they tell me that hurt my feelings, well, that's going to hurt my feelings, and so.
But
it's
isn't that good for them? Because they'd feel no malice coming off you as you said the joke, so they'd feel happiness because you feel right, okay. So they wouldn't feel anything because they have to have caused the emotion. So you would come up to them and you'd say something. You'd feel them being hurt, and then they'd feel you being hurt. So wouldn't that level it out?
Yeah. I don't know. Because like the way they've responded to your action, like you feel bad because you're getting the consequence of that. So you feel bad. But then them feeling bad is what made you feel bad. So then they would feel bad. So then you'd feel bad. And then you'd just be in this endless loop of feeling bad. So
Meditation would
you'd
be
have
really
to just
big.
you just have to kill everyone. I think.
But then you'd feel all their pain.
Yeah, but you only feel it once because they can't ricochet because they're dead.
Oh, what if once someone dies
Yeah.
in your hand, whatever their emotion was at that last second, it just stays with you.
Right.
Because they're gone.
Yeah.
The emotion just like a flatline.
Yeah.
Like an endless noise.
So you'd have to make someone really happy and then kill them, and you'd get permanent happiness off them forever.
Oh my god, that sounds
That's dangerous.
terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's never going to be pure happiness because the last thing is, oh, you mean kill them before they have any clue.
Yeah. So like you just, as a prostitute or whatever, you'd be having sex with a guy. The guy's like, I'm amazing, and just as he does what he does, you just shoot him in the face, and you'd be like, I forget to feel this emotion forever now. That'd be an interesting serial killer.
But
Yeah.
isn't the person giving you joy because you know you're about to kill them? And they'd be like, why is this person really happy? They feel sneaky.
They feel sneaky.
You feel sneaky?
But there was but okay, we're drifting a little bit here because there was at first it was you just feel the consequences of your actions, but now you're saying you know everyone else's feelings at all times.
You're right. I didn't want that to be a thing because it's too similar to telepaths.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I think you're too much of a risk. If you were going to kill someone as they were really happy, what if they're not? And then you're stuck being horribly terrified forever in pain.
Yeah.
And you'd still feel the pain that you made them feel as you killed them. There's no painless way to go in 1 second.
Well, possibly. I think if someone shot in the brain straight away, like you just destroy the brainstem, they'd be dead instantaneously.
But there'd be nerves on the way to the brain that you'd go past it. Okay.
Yeah, but how quickly? Yeah, but I mean, like those, in order to feel an emotion, your brain has to secrete, certain hormones, and your brain has to generate these ideas and feelings. Well, in all that time, the brainstem's already been destroyed. The brain doesn't have time to do any of that.
Why do you want to murder people?
I don't. You're the one you made up the rule that if you murder someone, you get to experience their final feelings for all eternity. You invented that weird rule out of nowhere. I'm just saying what the natural consequence of that madness is.
I'll take it back. I take that bit back.
Okay. Yeah, because it's crazy. So all it is what you do to someone. You experience the psychological and emotional consequences of those actions.
It'd be weird though, right? Because would you like walk in your office and be like, hi, and then you'd feel like, them. You'd be like, oh.
Well, for everyone in your office listening, that's how Tanya feels when she walks in every morning, apparently.
No, I'm the one saying hi, and
them.
they're the one that's like, her.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said them, I thought you meant like, you're walking in and looking at everyone in the office and just going, ugh, them.
I bet they're thinking
that's
about
what they're
me.
thinking of
but
you.
then I'll know it. I kind of know it already, but like then I'll really know it.
But you won't know it though, because because it's. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you just saying hello annoyed them, because then I was thinking, well, they'd have to say something for you to feel the emotion. But no, of course, you just walking into the room has stimulate the consequences of you walking in the room for them is unpleasant.
So do you think do you think they'd have to get rid of television and stuff? Because every time, like we're going a bit bigger now, but like every time someone walks out, say the president gives a speech, the second he walks on the podium, he's going to feel everyone being like, we hate you.
Yeah, and
we love you.
And everything he says, if he's like, we're going to, do X, and everyone goes, oh, dickhead. You'd be like, you'd feel that straight away. You've pissed everyone else.
But wouldn't that be good?
Off.
Wouldn't that make you do better things?
But would it though? Because you're the president, you stand up and you're like, we're going to raise taxes, and half the people are like, fuck you, and the other half are like, yay. And then you're like, we're going to lower taxes, and half, fuck you, yay. It's like, you'd be in this constant emotional roller coaster, exactly as we're in now, so it wouldn't be any different, I suppose.
I do think it would help, though, smaller interactions? Like, how would couples handle it?
Ooh, that's got it. That could be a minefield.
Wouldn't it be a good thing though?
Oh, well,
Imagine going on a date
you'd have
with
to
someone.
you'd have to treat each other nicer, wouldn't you?
You seem so upset by that
I
idea.
know, it's the worst.
Okay, well, let's say you have to be in the actual presence of them. So if something's recorded, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So like, if
So
someone...
all those recorded messages I leave for you when you get home from work, tell
I'll
you
never
how
see
much
you
I
again.
hate you. They're fine. They're still fine. I can still do them. Phew! I was worried for a minute then.
Imagine that though. That'd be great. You just record yourself saying, "I hate you." It's
Yeah.
just playing it.
Jerk. You should walk through the door and that's it. You're like, oh, it's recorded, so it doesn't count.
But like simple things like road rage would be gone.
Yeah.
Like rude people would just be gone. Surely.
Yeah. General rudeness would be gone. So all those people on the bloody train who sit next to you, well, just sit next to you. People who sit next to you on trains. As soon as they sat down, you just be like, oh, this is the worst day ever. And they'd be like, oh, I can't believe I just did that to that person.
But like sometimes you just have to sit down next to someone you don't want to, and then you'll feel how much they hate it.
Yeah, well, just don't sit next to people on trains. Leave them alone.
But like if you sat down next to them, if I sat down next to someone on a train because I had to, because like it's the only seat, and they were like, ugh, I hate this person, I would turn around to them and verbally be like,
I didn't want to sit here either.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then maybe that person would kind of be like, you're right, sorry.
Yeah, I suppose they would, because you'd understand more, wouldn't you? Because at the moment, people just do whatever they want to do, and you're like, yeah, that's a really selfish, inconsiderate thing to do. But they don't care because they don't get to feel those feelings. All they get is the joy of what they wanted. So good, they get to feel those feelings, and even if they're like, I'm really sorry, I just did that to you, you'd be like, okay, well at least they understand and they've acknowledged that it's unpleasant for everyone involved. So that's a good thing.
How about, I suppose food would be better. This is the same as the telepath thing. It's like, yeah, restaurants would be great because everyone would want to...
There's essentially no downside to this, really. In a social way, everyone will just have to be nicer to each other because you would feel the consequences of your actions. There's no real downside to it other than, well, that's bad because I'll get to feel all the horrible things I make other people feel.
Well,
That's the only downside.
I think I kind of live in this world already.
Yeah.
I just feel horrible guilt about everything I say or do. So I suppose for me it wouldn't be that different. But for
No.
some people it would. Like,
For me, it'd be horrendous.
there's has to be a downside to this. Apart from feeling like crap and having to change who you are to be a better person. Like, there's got to be downside. Is there a way that this could backfire for aliens?
Backfire for the aliens in what way? What, like make us worse? Or...
Like, the aliens are like, we've outsmarted humans here. We're going to make them all nice.
Yeah. What is the downsides? Yeah, people who get pleasure from pain. Because at the moment, if you they get pleasure from seeing someone else's pain. But then if you actually felt the pain that the other person feels, would you still get that pleasure?
Yeah, it's the ricocheting effect, isn't it? I wonder how many... Because if someone's torturing you, you'd feel tortured, but the person would like the tortured feeling, so then they'd be happy, so then the person being tortured would be happy. So the person torturing would stop because they're not getting what they want anymore, and the person wouldn't be sad. So
Yeah, I don't know how this works.
is this literally the only thing wrong with the world, that we don't feel how other people feel enough?
I think so. I think that might be it.
So you're not going to rob anyone. You're not going to shoot anyone, or...
No, there's
Are we being dum-dums about this? I can't...
Is there a blatantly obvious downside to this that we're just not getting? I don't know. It's like the episode of Futurama, isn't it, where Bender has that chip installed so he can feel what Leela's feeling.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. This is exactly this.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, because he hates Nibbler, doesn't he? But she loves Nibbler, so he does horrible things to Nibbler, which makes Leela sad. And then he feels sad.
And it works.
Yeah, it does work. He doesn't want Leela to be sad anymore, so he does nice things instead of bad
Because
things.
selfishly, he doesn't want to be sad anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So selfishly, you're making other people less selfish. It's such a weird, backwards way, but I think it would work.
It does work. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
So science, get on that.
Yeah.
Empathy chips, please. Do you think it would work as a punishment? If you, in the real world, if somehow scientists could make that happen, do you think that would actually work as a criminal punishment?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And there's no real way that you can be against it. Do you know what I mean? You can't really be like, well, I don't feel like I should feel the consequences of my actions. It's like, well, what would be the philosophical basis for thinking that you shouldn't feel the consequences of your actions?
I think the technical term would be, I can do what I want.
Yeah. It's like you can still do what you want, but you
feel shit about it.
Yeah, you have to pay the price for it, an emotional price for the choices you make. That's essentially all that humankind's been doing. That's what our entire justice system has been designed to try and sort of replicate, hasn't it? It's an interesting idea, but there's not much to discuss because it just makes the world better. That's it, really. It wouldn't really change much about the world we live in.
But surely everything would be better. Films would have to be better. TV would have to be better. It's just a world where everyone's nice to each other. Which, would also happen if there was Muppets that were real. Okay, so would you live there?
Yeah, sounds pretty nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
I think you are, though. It's like, it is great as an overview that, yes, this world is great. But I do think that the adjustment period would be horrible.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those things where I think it would be nice to live there because the world would probably be a nicer kind of place. But your actual day-to-day life would be so much worse because at first, in that adjustment period, because you'd have to be so conscientious and nice and kind all the time. It could be exhausting.
But imagine you're a parent. Every time you leave your baby, you'll feel the deep sadness of abandonment every time you leave.
Oh God, yeah.
Like a dog, if you're feeling your dog's emotions when you leave them, you see those videos and they've just sat there the whole time while you've been gone.
Yeah.
What if you felt the sadness the whole time?
God, that would be. Yeah, actually, no, I don't want to go to this future world.
But at the same time, the pure joy that your child would feel and dogs when they see you and stuff, maybe that would outweigh it.
Maybe.
Oh, social media would be fantastic. You'd post something and then you'd just feel a load of eye rolls all around the world. You'd be like, oh, not doing that again.
Yeah.
This podcast.
Yeah.
You post this podcast and everyone will be like, ugh.
Oh, yeah, there you go again. Lee's off on one.
So, which scientific world is it? Which sci-fi realm or fantasy realm is this most likely?
Is it the future in Demolition Man? Is that what's closest to? Where everyone's really nice to each other, no one swears and all that sort of stuff.
You think they went through this and that's the world we
live in? I just think they've sort of reached that point, haven't they, where they're let's be nice to everyone.
Seashells, Lee?
How do you use the seashells?
How do you use the seashells? If you don't understand that, then you should watch Demolition Man.
Yeah. You haven't wasted your life watching Demolition Man, which I love.
This is a hard one. This may be the hardest yet. Are you going to pick this world or last week's world?
What was last week's world?
Muppets!
Yeah.
Muppets and cartoon characters being real, yay! And if you haven't listened to that, go back, because we were very drunk, and it is horrible.
Is Roger Rabbit, and therefore Jessica Rabbit, alive in the previous world?
Yeah.
Jessica Rabbit exists.
And she's married to Roger Rabbit.
Okay. In that case, then, I have no interest in that world. This one, and I suppose.
The empath world.
Yeah.
Where everyone's an empath.
Yeah, basically. Probably. I don't know. What about you?
Well, that's a silly question. Which world do you think I'm going to pick?
Yeah, you're going to pick the felt world, aren't you?
Always the Muppet world.
Muppet world.
I don't think there'll ever be a world that we ever work on that will be better than that world. But so is it Utopia, Dystopia, or Midopia?
I think it's actually literally a utopia, isn't it?
Nah, I'm going Midopia for a while. I think it would be I feel what people I think people feel. That was a weird sentence, but do you know what I mean? I already get stressed out.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine maybe if I did feel what people feel, I'd be a lot more chilled out because I would be.
Yeah, you don't actually feel what other people feel. You feel what you think other people feel, which is because you're racked with self-doubt and.
Oh, I'd be sad though. Imagine you Skype your family and friends, and then. What if you didn't feel? What if you hung up and I was going to say, well, they'd miss you and you'd feel sad. But what if they're like, good riddance? You'd know. You'd be like, oh.
Yeah, but you'd feel that way too, so you'd be fine. You'd feel that feeling.
You'd have none of those weird friendships anymore. Oh my god, it would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's very few downsides. I can't right now. I mean, I'm not best equipped to think of the downsides right now. I'm laying down on a sofa drinking very strong homebrew. So I'm not best equipped. But I can't think of any serious downsides to this.
We may have been thwarted on this one.
Yeah.
Is it because it's too good or not good? I don't know.
I think it's too good in the sense it's just.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's a situation which cures all our ills.
So what would you say? It's an idea, the flawless idea, I suppose, from the aliens. Good on them.
Yeah, they nailed it. And
Well-
Arthur C Clarke, in between inventing satellites, did a good job with that one.
That's such a good book, and I don't want to give the ending away because it's a really cool little like mini twist at the end.
Yeah.
But it's it's interesting. What the aliens actually look like is the reason they've had to keep it so long until you saw them.
Oh, really? Do they?
Yeah, because they look like. Well, if I say spoiler, and then anybody can stop right now
Yeah.
and then read the book if they want to.
Okay, well, I want to read the book, so don't tell me.
Oh.
Go on. What do they look like? They look like big.
No, I don't
Do they look like gelatinous blobs?
No.
Do they look like werewolves?
Maybe.
Yeah.
They look like Arthur C Clarke's, all of them.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to make you all read it.
Oh,
Go out there
okay.
and read it.
Is that some homework? Is it?
Some
So everybody
homework,
got
yeah.
some homework. Everybody reads. What's the name of the book, Shed?
Childhood's End.
Childhood's
by Arthur
End.
C Clarke. It's a
By
beautiful book.
Arthur C Clarke.
It's not even that long. Actually, it does go off on a tangent at the end. I feel
Yeah.
like it's a few books, and then he just, as he does, he has a great idea, and then he's like, and then, and you're like, okay, calm it down. This is not the same book we started reading anymore. Clarky.
He can't help it. He can't help himself.
That's right. I'm criticizing Arthur.
Yeah, that's it. You're taking him to task. What does he know about science fiction?
So, where in the world can we find you?
Me? Right here on this sofa. Outside of that, you will not find me.
Do you think,
Yeah.
I thought we're finished, but I'm going to go back to this.
Yeah.
Do you think that alcoholism would go through the roof?
Oh, to like numb your senses.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there would be a trade in like drugs and things that could just numb your senses. You can't feel anything. 'Cause you're like, I'm just sick of feeling all these emotions constantly.
Yeah, because surely, you know, like you know, when you remember, because you were very drunk last week, but you're doing things, and in the moment, you're there. Like, you can see videos of yourself, and you're like, I was there and present,
Yeah.
but I have no recollection of that. So maybe, yeah, you'd still feel the drunken things, and it'd be horrible, but then when you woke up, you'd be gone. So
You know what? It would make emotional people would kind of be abusive.
they are now, aren't they?
Yeah, but
I am abusive to you
well-
by having so many emotions.
having so much emotions, just caring about everything all the time. But they would be imposing their emotions on everyone around them because, you know, you could do something to me, you know, you could say something to me, oh, Lee, you're a jerk, and I just like, doesn't feel anything. But if I said, oh, Tanya, you're a jerk, you would like feel this deep-seated sort of.
Wait.
What?
You're angry that
Yeah.
you call someone a jerk, and they make you
feel bad about it. Yeah, because their emotional reaction would be out of, in my opinion, would be completely out of, you know, what's the word? Would not
Context. No.
not context. It would be disproportionate.
It'd be uncalled for kind of thing.
Yeah, like it would be their emotional response would be disproportionate to what you've done.
But when they feel that, a second later, they'd feel like, oh, I was disproportionately annoyed at him for saying that.
Well, this is why we need to establish these rules of how many times emotions bounce back and forth.
17.
17 times?
Yep, 17 bounce backs.
Oh, that'd be pretty good. That would be good. Would it sort these emotional people out? Would they be like, I need to stop being so sensitive about everything?
This is why it's so great, because it levels everyone out.
Yeah.
Emotional people get less emotional because all of the fears and like the horrible fears you have about what people are thinking about you wouldn't actually probably be as worse as you thought. But then people that have no, I'm pointing at you as I say that people have no emotions. You have
Yeah,
emotions.
thanks. Cheers.
I don't. Leah's lots of emotions.
They're just mainly about chocolate and beer, but they are there.
So everyone would level out, right?
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And everyone would have dogs.
We'd all be like a hive mind as well, wouldn't we? We'd all be like,
almost like the singularity. Yeah.
we'd be like the Borg.
It's like the third time we brought up the Borg.
I
feel
know,
like
yeah.
we were-
I like to bring up the Borg quite a lot.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. Great. Yeah. So when the aliens come,
That's what they should do to us. They should make us feel the emotional consequences of our actions.
would it be considered chemical warfare if a country could work out how to do this and make a country feel like it?
Well, yeah, if they used chemicals to do it to you, that's chemical warfare, isn't it?
But like, Because surely the only enemy is you when it comes to this. If you're a jerk.
Yeah.
If you're not a jerk, then no, they haven't done anything bad to you. Let's say.
But they're still using chemicals to alter your state of mind against your will.
Yeah, I suppose.
So that's a chemical attack, isn't it?
Potato, potato. Sorry, that was a yawn. Potato, potato.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the right saying in that
No,
context. But
not at all.
I can feel that you feel that I'm stupid. I can feel it. But I think we've overlooked the fact that everyone would be alcoholics.
Yeah, you try to numb those emotions, but that's that's why people drink now. So it wouldn't be that much. It's not going to be It's not like no one drinks alcohol now, and then suddenly in this new world, everyone needs to drink alcohol to numb the feelings. We already do it. So
sorry. You said I asked you where in the world we are because I was wrapping up and went off on a tangent again. So you're on the sofa. That's where you.
I'm on the sofa. Yeah.
Yep.
So if somebody knows where this sofa is and they physically come here, they can get in contact with me.
But don't.
Outside of that, they probably can't.
Even if you ring Lee, you won't get in contact with
Yeah,
him.
people ring me, and unless I've rung you, I'm not answering that phone probably.
We've basically thrown up on the internet. We're everywhere now.
Yeah, you've gone on a spree, haven't you?
Well, I just wanted to.
There's so many social media sites I've never heard of that we are now on, apparently.
Just because I love podcasts, I listen to excessive amounts of podcasts, and there's certain tropes that you get from a podcast. So, we are in no way affiliated with anyone, but I can talk about Casper mattresses, and that'll make us sound like we're an official podcast, or Squarespace, because they sponsor every podcast in the world.
Yeah.
Squarespace, we're here when you're ready.
Yeah, we will sell our integrity for very little money. Very little money.
Or free mattresses.
Yeah. Free mattresses? Wow. I will do literally anything for a free mattress.
Socks. There's socks. There's a
Socks?
Socks website.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
Feet gloves.
But the other thing that they always get to say in podcasts, which we now get to say, you ready?
Go on.
You can find this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you find your podcast.
Oh, great. I don't know what Stitcher is, and I haven't got iTunes. But for everyone else out there...
But yes, if you want to listen to us, you are listening to us now, so you've probably found us somehow. But
yeah, well done.
We are Drinks and Dystopia podcast. You can find us on iTunes if you search it. If you would like to find us directly, which has all the links to all the places that we are, you can go on to www.drinksanddystopia.blogspot.com. And there's links to our YouTube and You're looking so confused at me right now.
This is crazy. We've got a website.
We also, are you ready? This is new. Well, we have a Twitter, Drinks_Dystopia.
Really?
Yeah. And, ready, we have an email address.
Wow.
Which I can't remember. So
Great.
I can't say it right now. So that's our email. So if you guys have any questions or things you want us to say, even if it's shut up Welsh people, then email us.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
This self-promotion makes me sick.
I mean it is this I mean this is a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? We're totally trying to sell ourselves.
Yeah, the next thing I'll be doing is asking them to rate and review us on iTunes.
So, rate and review us on iTunes, you jerks. And then come back and listen again. Thanks. Let's cheers.
To Dystopias.
To Dystopias. Cheers. Was that another blockbuster episode?
I feel that may have been the most lackluster episode we've ever done.